Welcome to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast, where we help farmers, ranchers, and business owners create a seamless transition plan for the future. From retirement to ownership transfer, we protect what you've built and guide you every step of the way.
Hello, all. Welcome back to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Olson. And if you're just joining us for the next episode and final episode of my conversation with Tom Freilich, welcome back. In this episode, we talk about rebuilding the rock house, but today we zoom out even more as we talk about what it actually meant to survive on the prairie, what it took to stay warm in the winter, and homesteading, building something from raw land. To planting trees you might never sit under, to farming when times were downright brutal. The pioneers didn't just build farms. They built something meant to outlast them. It's about honoring the people who survived long enough to make today possible. Let's finish my conversation with Tom.
Nobody thought everybody thought I was insane starting on this thing in the first place. But I just did so much every year. And I learned a lot about building after I got done with that.
I bet you did.
And to this day, I would do it again.
Would you?
I would rebuild an old building like this before I would think about rebuilding a car or a tractor or an automobile.
Wow.
You couldn't get me to restore an automobile.
No, but an old house and a rock house. Because how many walls are rock?
They're all rock.
All of them are rock. But there's some parts of some entryways that are wood?
No. Not when I started. Everything was rock.
Okay.
So as you can see here.
So everything was rock. And the windows, you put in new windows?
No, I restored all the windows.
The windows have all been restored?
Windows are restored, plastered them, and then this summer, the hail beat a bunch of them out, so we really did a good restore job on the windows.
Okay.
We took them out and rebuilt them, and Renetta repainted them all and stuck them back in.
And I see you had a chimney. There was a chimney on the house? There was
a chimney on the house that we didn't know this, but a chimney was hanging free in the house, and there was one shingle wedged up against that chimney that was holding it up in the roof.
Oh boy.
And didn't know this, and I was trying to redo this chimney on the bottom to get it plumbed up again. And that's when the shingle let go and the chimney came down. And it came down. I was standing beside it, and the chimney came down all around me in 3-foot sections. And up to this day, I was lucky I didn't get killed out of that deal.
Right.
And I went back up and I looked, and here the top part of the chimney, yet this part was still sitting up there on that shingle.
Oh boy.
The shingle that was holding it. So I hit that shingle with a crowbar, and that thing just went right through the roof.
And it was a brick. It was a brick.
Real good brick chimney.
Okay.
Because that chimney was rebuilt one other time. It isn't the original. It wasn't the original chimney.
And is that the chimney that they used for heating and cooking?
Yes.
Okay.
Heating and cooking. And there's a story with that old potbelly stove. Those potbelly stoves burned more houses down than you could ever imagine. Because what they did, and I didn't understand this until my uncle finally, before he died, he explained it. That stove, they would have this house all closed up real tight, and they would start this stove. They'd stoke up the stove with wood or coal, and then from about 3 o'clock in the morning, this stove would have all the oxygen burnt out of the house. But when the oxygen burnt out, the only place it came in was the chimney. So the oxygen would come down the chimney and hit that stove, and it would ignite it, and it would blow up. and the stove would blow up, blow the door off, and all the smoke in it would fill the whole house with smoke. Can you imagine this happening at 20 below zero?
Right.
These people would be choking to death in this house, so they'd have to open up all the windows and the doors and let the smoke out. And must have got like 10 below zero in the house until they got it cleared out and started a new fire.
So did they ever figure out how to control that?
Never did. They never learned that until probably in when people start putting wood burning stoves in their house here in the 90s or 2000s. The guy that told me about it was a guy had a trailer house. They put a stove in there, but he piped oxygen underneath the house to the stove.
Oh, so they could figure.
And he said, this is why all these stoves were blowing up. And nobody understood this, that they had to pipe oxygen to these stoves, fresh air in. So if you've got a wood burning stove or a fireplace in your house,
make sure you've got oxygen.
Make sure there's oxygen.
That's interesting. I guess I never thought of researching enough because I didn't grow up around that.
Well, the stove we have in this house is a gas stove without a chimney. It's one of those efficient stoves, but it's supposed to have oxygen to it to run it.
Okay.
And when we sit between our dryer, we don't have a dryer downstairs, and that stove, you'll feel cold air going through to feed the stove. All these old houses had coal stoves in them, but they had no oxygen area.
Right.
So when there was a draft, there's a draft under the door, there's a draft through a window. That's why there's a draft there, because it's trying to feed the stove.
Feed the stove.
Yeah.
So then they never had that happen with this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With this house. It would blow the doors.
My uncle said this stove would blow up probably 2-3 nights a week.
So and then they figured out.
They never did figure it out.
That part they didn't figure out in this house.
No, other than during the day they had enough oxygen coming in through the doors.
Yeah.
Through the doors, but at night when they shut everything up tight.
So there were on this house, there are places that are, there was no rock. It was all broken out. So were the rocks just laying here?
The only place there was rock is where I showed you that wall in the bathroom. That's the only original hole there. The rest of them, I had to tear down and start all over.
And when you tore them down, was trying to figure out how to put those rocks back to get everything square?
Did you ever put a 1,000-word puzzle together?
No.
Try that.
Did it keep you up at night?
No, it was I'd take these rocks and I'd throw them on a pile. And then when I start putting them together, I'd pick up a rock. I wonder where this one fits. I wonder how this one fits. That was just like putting a big puzzle together.
Wow. So you had to kind of put them together first. And then did you use cement?
I'd set them there. And then if it looked like they were going to fit, then I'd put a gob of cement there and then set the rock in it.
Okay. Yeah, it looks beautiful. When we were over there, you would never have guessed that you had to rebuild those walls.
Yeah. On the other, you look at the finished pictures, you see the way the rocks were, the way I laid them in there.
And you built this entryway.
Yeah.
To go on. Did the house originally have? It
had a screened-in entryway at one time, and then after a while, I suppose they found out a screen-in entryway wasn't practical, so they covered it with wood. And then when they moved out of that house, they took the shingles off the roof, so that entryway went to hell. So then I just cleared it all away and just rebuilt a new entryway on it.
And put a new one. So when they moved out of this house, did they move out because they were moving off the farm, or did they moved into
They moved into this house.
Into this house, and they built the house where you're at.
This here house. Yeah.
Yes.
They built this house in 46.
Okay.
No, 48.
Okay.
In 48, they built this house.
Yeah. That must have been a big change to go from a house like this to where.
Well, yeah, it was, because there were a lot. The first couple of years, there wasn't running water in here. So it was just kind of a different place. Well, it was only this here piece of house.
Right.
It wasn't that.
Right. Smaller.
So it was.
Did they have you? And I see there's steps that go
Yeah.
up to the second floor. And you said that second floor was used for the teacher.
They rented it to a school teacher that taught school half a mile up the road here
Okay.
for a couple of years, I guess. But I don't know how many people they figured they could have put in this house, because there was a school teacher plus 8 other family people living in it.
Ugh.
They must have been on top of each other's head. And then that living room that I showed you, there was a big player piano in there too yet.
Well, they had a player piano in the house.
In the house, they had a big player piano in there.
My goodness.
That I remember, because I remember it coming into this house.
Did it work? Did they must have played it?
Yeah, it was a piano, but it had rolls in there and you could play.
So did your mom play?
No.
Was it your grandma that played?
No.
Who used it? Or they just used the player part?
I guess my dad kind of played a couple different instruments.
Okay.
But the ceiling here, you can see I took that out of other old houses and replaced the ceiling.
So this came from other old houses that you went around to. So you've tried to get it back to as original as possible.
Because all these old houses had this what do they call it? Cardboard ceiling, and they were all blue. Every one of them was blue.
Must have been something with the paint at that time. That's what they had.
The blue was supposed to keep mosquitoes and flies out.
Really? I would not have known that.
Yeah, that's what I was told by some old guy. He said, I told him, I said, how come every old house is blue?
Yeah.
And you can see when you take them out, they were blue from factory. They didn't paint them. They were blue from factory. And he says, well, that was meant to keep the mosquitoes and the flies out of your house. I don't know if it worked or not.
I don't know. Do you have flies and mosquitoes in this house?
Yes. We have not mosquitoes, but we had flies.
Flies. So then it took you, 12 years to finish the house.
Yeah.
So you got the house finished, and now you have several memorabilia items over there that you have. You showed us a couple different rooms. So you've done tractor pulls, and you have your trophies and awards over there for that.
Yeah.
And you have your school trophies as well.
Jason's got his Taekwondo trophies in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got other family awards and so forth, memories. So you've got a lot of pictures on the wall.
Yeah. We had all the pictures except the old ones that we have no idea where it is, if anybody ever took pictures of the old buildings.
Okay. Yes. And aerial pictures of your farm?
We had all the aerials from 1970 on.
So it was really interesting to see how things have changed and grown over the years. And trees were not a big thing in this area.
I think when that old house was there was one tree on this whole farm, and that was right in front of the window in the living room. Mm-hmm. So when they cut that front door out of the house, they cut the only tree down that was in the farm. Yeah. When these homesteaders came in here, their biggest hang-up was there was nothing to burn for heat other than couch or buffalo chips, they called them.
Sure.
That was the only thing. So when they ran out of buffalo chips, they had to find coal or wood. Well, there were no trees, so they were found coal veins, and they started mining coal.
Okay.
And the coal was like burning paper. It was real poor coal.
Right.
It wasn't good coal.
Right. So they really had to, any trees that were here were cut down or burned.
Well, only trees here were maybe along a river or in the Badlands. But other than that, in this country, there were no trees.
And so you guys have really had to work hard to put in the trees that you have all around your yard.
Yeah, well, the soil conservation started planting trees here in, let's say, the 50s. They start planting trees. And then they put these, what they call shelter belts in for these farmers. But too bad they didn't use good trees. We'd have good trees today, but they were using the wrong variety of trees.
Russian olive?
No, Russian olive survived, but the Chinese elm, they all had Chinese elm. Today it's just a big mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, those trees didn't have a life.
No.
What we're planting now are, like in our tree rows, are junipers, Rocky Mountain junipers, because those are kind of native in this area.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian olives are native in this area, and the Russian olives can be a pain in the butt after a while.
Right.
Because they'll just grow wild.
Oh, they can if you don't keep control of them.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've kept the house up, you've done more trees, you've done a lot of work in the yard. So with the house, now that you've got it complete, you've got some more projects that you're going to do on the house.
Not today. Not right.
You're working on a bathroom.
Well, I added the bathroom.
Get the bathroom.
Yeah, I did the bathroom. Just for, I don't know what you call it, convenience sake. We have Thanksgiving in this house every year. But my wife said we got to have a bathroom.
There you go.
So one day I decided to lay out a plan and make a bathroom.
All right. And it looks beautiful over there. So the bathrooms that you're working on, you've got two bathrooms.
Two bathrooms.
Yeah.
One is just a storage room for now.
Okay.
But they're all functional.
So you have water, you've got plumbing, you've got electrical work over there.
You've got running water, plumbing, everything you need to live in there right now.
So really, if you wanted to, you could move over there.
Oh yeah, there'd be no problem living in there. Just have to put a bed back in the bedroom.
Right. Because you've got some other things, displays set up in the bedroom.
We used to have beds there, but this last summer, I think it was, we gave the beds away.
There you go. Okay.
Gave them to the neighbors.
There you go. Did you ever had hunters come here and hunt? Did they ever use the house
we never did. No, I didn't have it. I didn't have it completed at that time.
Okay.
I was still working on it when we were hunting.
Sure. So you don't have nobody stayed in there?
No, a couple guys took pictures in front of it, but that's about it.
Sure. So now this will be a tradition, something to have in your family with everybody for the next years to come, and always have Thanksgiving there.
Evidently.
Yeah. So that's something that at least.
We had one New Year's Eve party there.
Okay.
I think we had one. That's when I had it all decorated like this.
Sure. For Christmas.
Yeah.
And this is the kitchen. This is the kitchen area where we come in now. Yeah. And you've collected a lot of antiques and collectibles over the years to have in there.
That's my big deal, is going to the antique sales. Going to antique sales, and now, believe it or not, my wife is just as crazy. She goes along.
There you go.
So now she's buying. But the shingles, the first thing I did was I reshingled it all. And the shingles, I came off at a credit union building in Dickinson.
Uh-huh.
They had hail damage. They said that you couldn't see no damage on them, but the insurance gave them new shingles. So they gave them all these shingles that they took off.
Okay.
And I just happened to be driving through Dickinson when they were taking those shingles off. And I asked the guy, I said, who's doing this? And it was Fred Tooze. Tooze Construction. Fred Tooze is doing it. And I says, is there any way I can have those shingles? And he said, if you bring me trucks, I don't have trucks to haul them, but if you bring me trucks, I'll give you all the shingles.
Okay.
So they took all the shingles off, and I took all those shingles and There's pictures here where I dumped them off the trucks. And I had enough shingles to shingle about 5 of those houses.
Oh,
But I had to take them and start them all, pull all the nails out or pull the staples out. And those were just perfectly good shingles.
nice.
So I'm figuring these shingles will last another 50, 60 years
Sure.
until we had a big hailstorm this summer. And it just about ruined one side of the roof.
Okay. So do you have to redo it?
No, I don't think so. I think I can get away with it.
Yeah, without having.
But it broke a bunch of shingles.
And you had an outhouse,
Yep, I had an outhouse.
just a single stall.
No, it was a 2-holer.
It was.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a 2-holer, but the wind tipped it over so many times, I just gave it, set it aside.
All right. Well, is there anything that you've learned on this house that if you were to do it all over again, anything that you would do different?
Not really. You gotta love doing the rocks and knowing how to do it rocks.
Right.
The roof, there ain't many around that got a good roof anymore.
No.
I know a few of them, but if you see these old rock houses, that do one that's standing it, the roofs are perfectly straight. I've never seen a sagged out roof on an old rock house.
Maybe
On a rock farm, the roofs are all perfect straight. There's something about how they can be, the corners and the rocks can be missing and the roofs are still straight.
Mm-hmm. I know. I've seen that on our rock barn at our farm. The roof is still there. Yep. But even though some of the corners have broken and come out and they've repaired them.
As long as you keep shingles on them, they'll stand.
It's still there. Well, very good. So if you have any bit of advice to give. So first I'm going to say, from everything that you've learned from your grandparents and parents, if you were to give advice first to your children, what type of advice or life knowledge would you want them to know?
Well, I guess they all are old enough to know you got to work to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
No such thing as handouts.
Nope.
There's no such, let's put it this way, there's no such thing in this whole world as free.
Right.
Nothing is free.
Something comes with a price tag.
Everything. I don't care what it is. Maybe, well, I guess if we don't work at it, our hair isn't even going to become free.
Right.
I mean, if we don't take care of our hair, that's ain't going to be free.
Right.
Because you can buy water in water bottles, which we never heard of 20 years ago. That was even unheard of. Anybody bought water was stupid or something wrong. Today, you can buy air. You can buy air in canisters. This world is changing big time. But climate change, there is no such thing as climate change. I've looked back and you can go back and like the experiment station and places like this, they've got records back over 100 years and the climate hasn't been any different then than it is now.
It's just goes through its cycles.
It's a cycle. I've read all these old books from the early 1900s, late 1800s. They've all had tornadoes and grasshoppers and droughts and hailstorms and very good years. And I mean, it's just a change of, like you said, climate is never the same.
No.
I farmed since I've been about 19 years old, I've been farming. I'm only 80 now, but I've never had 2 years the same.
No. And all your 60 some years of farming.
70.
Yeah.
And never had 2 years the same yet. So
it's a cycle and it keeps coming around. It depends. You go through the 7-year drought and then you get your
good years again.
Yeah.
You know, the old people used to have signs. They went by fog, so many days of fog, you get so many days of rain. Or if you see ducks walking over top of the road of a hill, that means it's going to rain. Or if there's snakes going across the road, it's going to rain. None of those old signs work.
No.
None of them.
No, you've tried them.
we watch them, and they don't seem. I mean, anybody. You could get the what is it, Farmer's Almanac?
Yeah,
I mean, anybody can write that book.
sure.
It's just a guess,
Yep.
and you're 50% right or wrong.
Anybody's guess, best guess.
It's just a guess.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Man,
So you've seen it, you've seen the highs, you've seen the lows, and knowing what, passing on to your children, making sure that they know that nothing comes for free. And they're,
our folks, your grandparents and my folks, they went through a time in the 30s where people were losing land and they couldn't afford it. And after they got finished, when they went through that, they didn't have the guts to go out and buy any more land because they seen the rough times and they thought it could happen any day again. They wouldn't. My dad wouldn't go buy. He never bought 1 acre more than my grandmother bought. Your dad never bought 1 acre more, or your grandfather never bought 1 acre more than what his dad had, because they were so damn afraid of another depression or another drought or
of the hard times.
just the hard times. And right now, today, we're probably coming into that same time again. If it wouldn't be for the cattle market right now, we would be at the bottom of the barrel.
Sure.
But the cattle market is kind of holding the whole country together a little bit or another.
Mm-hmm.
But grain prices, the price we're getting for grain today is the same price I got for grain in 1975. Boy, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Yep, that price. But look what the cost of living is.
And the cost of inputs are 100 times more than they were in 1975. So, I mean, are we going to survive this? This is really scary when you think about it. The inputs, fertilizer, there's an old fertilizer place in town that they've still got the fertilizer price on the wall.
Do they?
From the 60s. My God, I couldn't believe they could even truck it to town for that.
Right. And now look what we're paying for fuel.
Oh, yeah. Well,
just even to truck it.
To fuel. On our farm here, fuel is our least expense, believe it or not. But fertilizer and chemical, oh my God, you know what that's like.
Oh, yes. It's true.
And today, we are using chemical to kill weeds that our grandparents should have killed. Mm-hmm. And they've seeded out, and now we've still got them.
And there's millions of seeds in the ground. And it's like, will we ever have control of some of those weeds?
Never. Mm-hmm. Every rainy season or whatever starts a different wheat that's been laying there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. I've got a spot over here in the field. It's got wild oats in there. And we've been fighting this wild oats for I don't know how many years already. Forever, it seems. And Tommy's son is farming it. And he says, how come there's so much wild oats here every year? And I said, that's because my dad used to thrash his bundles, his oats there. And I can remember hauling the bundles there. And they were half wild oats. So there's so much wild oats in that ground. And wild oats, I think, can lay there for 100 years and grow again.
So that's why you're fighting wild oats?
We're going to be fighting that forever in that spot.
Because that's where they were bundling
They were thrashing their bundles. Kind of interesting, but now in the farmland, it's the same thing. We're fighting weeds we never heard of before.
Right.
You never heard of Canadian thistle. In my day, there never was such a thing. And now all of a sudden we have Canadian thistle or kochia weeds. We never had kochia weeds when I was young. Never. We had pig weeds in the pig fence and pig ground.
Yep.
But I never had them in the field.
Yeah.
We had cockleburs. Oh man, my dad was terrible. I mean, I should go put cockleburs on his grave today yet.
You would put cockleburs on torment you?
We had cockleburs back here in the field in this one quarter of land. from raising corn, they had cockleburrs. Whenever there was nothing to do, I had to go pick cockleburrs.
Oh.
And they didn't give me leather gloves.
Oh, man.
They gave me cotton gloves. Well, cockleburrs and cotton gloves will work.
Mm.
And I'd have to pick cockleburrs and pick cockleburrs. Well, I have a big pile of them. But I don't know what they do with them. Cockleburrs and potato bugs. Oh, man. Potato bugs. They'd give me an old frying pan and put some gas in there. And I had to go around the potato plants and whack them and knock the potato bugs off. And then they'd fall in this gas and they'd die.
Oh. Did it control them? Did it work?
No, well, every year we had potato bugs. It didn't control them, but we didn't grow any amount of potatoes either. Because in this gumbo ground, the potatoes would grow flat, out of shape. And I mean, they couldn't grow like potatoes. No, we couldn't grow potatoes here like your dad grew potatoes over their place.
Yep.
Because they'd grow in the cracks in the ground.
Sure.
They'd be flat. And
yeah, you would have odd shaped
potatoes.
Yeah.
But after picking potato bugs all summer, you still didn't get decent potatoes. Oh, I don't know. I guess you could talk about a bunch of stupid things that we did.
But they were things that you did that you had to do to survive.
Well, yeah.
You did what you needed to survive and to be able to have some sort of crop production.
I don't know. There were good years and there were bad years. But to be a good farmer, you got to be able to say next year will be better.
Yep.
That's how dumb farmers are. Next year
will be better.
Yeah. One guy told me a couple of days ago, he said, you know why farmers are farmers? And I said, no. He said, because they don't have a memory.
It was easy to forget about last year.
Yeah. He said, if they had a memory, they'd remember how bad it was last year. Right. They wouldn't do it again.
That's right. But somehow it's in our blood.
Well, I guess.
Keep doing it.
Like we said, next year will be better.
That next year will be better.
Yeah.
Next year. What do you foresee when you are not here anymore and that house and what you've worked so hard on? Is that something that Tommy will keep? You want him to keep up with? Keep going?
I'm sure they'll
keep it.
Yeah, they'll keep it going because they can't sell it off.
No.
It's
all in the farm yard.
It's in the yard. They can't sell it out, so I'm sure they'll keep it up.
Keep going and maybe keep having Thanksgiving dinner there.
And really, after I go, I give a damn less what they do with it.
But that's
when you're in the grave, you ain't going to tell anybody what to do.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely worked hard and you've seen a lot, and really being third generation here.
Well, the worst we did was planting trees. You know, we fought this tree thing for years and years here. But the first year we planted trees, we planted 4,500 trees.
Oh my gosh.
And the next year we planted 4,000 trees in the same area because the first 4,500, the grasshoppers ate off. So we planted them again. And then I think we planted them 3 years in a row till we found out junipers are the only thing deer don't wreck.
Okay.
Other than that, they'll wreck anything. So then we started planting trees and replanting the shelter belts. Put evergreens in there. And they kept a foot or two tall. Deer come in and they wreck them all. So the last 3 years, we started making cages around every tree. We'd put a cage around them. And then we started buying trees that were already 2 or 3 foot tall. More mature. Because at our age, we figured we don't have time to wait for a seedling to get to be 3 foot tall.
No.
So we just started buying. We'd get a good deal at a couple places in town and we'd buy it.
Okay.
Buy 200 or 300 trees.
Put some trees in. You
Put some trees in and put some surrounds around them. And now these big trees here down by the yard, the tornado ruined about 4 or 5 of them. Now I see that 90-mile-an-hour wind the other couple of weeks ago. That ruined a couple more, tipped them over. So we're not in the trees aren't done. We're going to plant trees and a tree on a place is pretty sad.
Well, and anytime you have a yard and with trees, there's always a lot of work that comes with those trees.
Yeah, there's work there is, because eventually you got to trim them up and keep them clean. And I guess ours should be trimmed up again, but I'm too old to crawl underneath them.
We can finish visiting, but let's wrap this up. Do you have, I'm asking the question, Tom, do you have any other words of wisdom to your family that you want to leave? Like,
words of wisdom. I told you I didn't make it in school, so I don't have no wisdom.
But you've done very well for your.
Yeah, well,
you've worked hard and you've persevered through the hard times.
Every year is going to be better.
That's right.
That keeps it going.
That's right. You forget about what happened last year.
I don't have a memory. That's why I'm here.
That's why we're recording these stories.
Right. I don't have a memory. It's getting shorter all the time.
But you're out there enjoying what you love doing.
Yeah.
And enjoying life on the farm and making it better
after my oldest son got old enough to start really helping. That kind of made it a whole lot easier.
Absolutely.
You know.
And him and his wife are here helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mechanic work, I used to like to do it, and then now I don't want to even look at mechanic work, but I will build an old house.
There you go. But you'll do carpentry.
I'll do carpentry, but in odds and ends stuff, but mechanic work, that's for my son. And now he's to the point where he says, let's just take it to town and get it fixed.
There you go. It's much easier. He saves up.
He just got old enough. He had enough of that too.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you go back in the shop and look what he's doing, you think he's plumb out of it.
Yeah.
He's got a tractor back there. It's in a million pieces. And,
he's working on that in the winter.
He's restoring it.
Yeah.
A new tractor. It ain't an old tractor. Mm-hmm. It's a newer tractor. So I guess he's got a hired man that wants to do something. So
there you go. Helping him. Yeah. So the legacy that you're passing on for your family is this family history and making sure that they all know why you did what you did
we did it to survive.
You did it to survive, and that's what your family has done generations prior to that.
Yeah.
You, even though you didn't immigrate from Russia yourself, but you were here taking over from after your.
Well, like I told you, I'm going to make a 4-generation thing from great grandpa to great great grandpa to my dad, to me, and to my son. It's going to be, and that's where it probably will end. But that's a lot of generations.
That's a lot of generations. That's many years of hard work.
Well, let's say from 1890 to now. That's how many years we've been farming here.
Tom, thank you for sharing your family's story. You had to have a lot of grit and humor to get through the hard seasons and keep building the farm. What a gift it is to preserve those stories, not just for today, but for the next generation who may never have heard them otherwise. We all joke about memories that fade, but when stories are told, recorded, and remembered, they become the cornerstone of our families. And the truth is, your family will learn things from those recorded conversations that they didn't know before. They'll understand the sacrifices made and see the farm differently. They'll see family history a little differently. And maybe, just maybe, they'll get a little smarter along the way. At the end of the day, the prairie didn't build soft people. It built survivors. It built legacies. And legacies only lives on when someone chooses to tell the story. Until next time, we'll see you between the ditches.
Thanks for listening to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast, where your future is our focus. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, and visit us at pathfinderlegacy.com to start building your transition plan today.